Hello everyone and welcome to a very special mini-scratch. Yes, this is from the new office. Just getting things together here, but I wanted to get information out about this as soon as possible because so many of you are commenting on it. This is about the Missy Bevers case, and there has been a few developments that I just wanted to cover. First of all, earlier this week, this article came out. This is from NBCDFW.com, and it includes video footage of a press conference with her husband and her father-in-law. And in particular, if you look at the gait of her father-in-law, if you look at his build, if you look at his stature, many people do believe that there is a possibility that he might be the person wearing the police outfit in the footage of the morning that she was killed. I have to say that when I first saw his, particularly how he walks when he steps out of this door, and of course I'm going to have a link down below so you can go to the website and check this out for yourself. I did get this very strange feeling and felt pretty strongly that he could at least be a suspect. Outside of just the physical appearance, a warrant was issued because he took a bloody shirt to the dry cleaners. He's saying that the blood is from their dog who got in a fight. It is kind of interesting that the shirt happens to be a female's shirt, which I'm really not sure how to make sense out of that. But if you watch this interview, you can come to your own conclusions. As of right now, he is not listed as a suspect, but police did take the shirt. I'm sure they're going to do some testing on the blood. In terms of social media, his wife did confirm that something happened with their dog. And social media also makes this a bit more interesting because according to her father-in-law's social media, he actually, I'm not sure that he was in Texas at the time that this happened. Literally the day before, there are photos of him playing golf in San Diego, California. Now, does that mean that it's impossible for him to get back to Texas within the time frame and be there? Not necessarily impossible, and I did not see any postings specifically from the day of the 18th when her murder took place. So I don't know that I could totally rule him out in terms of social media, but it is worth noting that he was in a completely different state the day before. Some people have commented they think his social media looks a little odd, that he didn't use it very much, and then all of a sudden it happens to pop up on that day. When you couple that up with the trip that her husband took, and his postings, it leads some people to believe that they're trying to create virtual alibis. So I just wanted to mention all that for you. At this point, I'm really not sure what to believe, but it is very interesting that his stature appears to be such a close match, that how he moves, the speed of his movement seems to be a pretty close match. I've even seen a picture that is comparing him directly to the person in the police uniform, and just the ways their arms, just the way that their arms kind of hang and everything. It's somewhat compelling, but it is not what you would consider like a fingerprint. There are many people that could be that shape, could be that size, could move in that way, but it is extremely, extremely interesting. The other thing that kind of kicks around this for me is if you do a search online, you can find a statement from his wife, and I found the tone of that statement very interesting. She's obviously upset. She's kind of lashing out at the murderer, but if you had changed the context of that a little bit in your mind and read it with the thought that she could potentially be lashing out at her husband, it seems to almost completely fit until you get to the very end. But outside of that one comment, if you just made the little switch out in your head, this is an upset wife that's trying to lash out at her husband for doing something she didn't agree with, most of the comments seems to suit that. So I'll actually dig up that link and I'll put it in the description box below so you guys can check it out for yourself and tell me what you think. But on top of all that, there is new information just coming out today. There was also some other information. They have confirmed that there were multiple puncture wounds that killed her, and that the puncture wounds were consistent with the tools that were being carried around by the police officer, the person dressed up in police uniform. So it seems to me that, from what I could see, it looks to me like a claw hammer, and they're talking about puncture wounds. I'm not sure if the claw end might have been used. They haven't really gone into that type of detail, but they have at least pieced together that the wounds seem to be consistent with the tools being carried by the person in the video. But as of today, the latest warrants are now revealing financial and marital struggles, as well as a creepy message that was delivered to her on LinkedIn. So for some of the theories that we were kicking around in the Brain Scratch episode, looks like we were sniffing in the right direction. If you remember, I pointed out that the husband had talked about the last 10 months in particular of her texting him, "I love you" daily. And why would he mention that unless there was a change of some kind? And I thought that possibly there might have been some type of marital issues. Looks like we now have confirmation of that. I didn't know about the financial issues, so that's a bit of a new wrinkle in all this. And then this article also confirms that there was indeed some type of extramarital affair, but we don't know on whose part. So the details of that are still being withheld. So due to the weird messages that she got in terms of LinkedIn, and I believe on her cell phone, the police now have several leads that they're following up on. They have several phone numbers that they're going to be backtracing, and we will see if any of that provides to be anything useful. I still have not seen any update on the blood test for the father-in-law's shirt, so if that comes back with something other than the blood of an animal, I think that will be a very interesting turn in this case. Personally, I think the theory, I've seen cases before where a father will try to do something for his son. And is it possible that the father-in-law might be involved in this? I think it's possible. Is it possible that it's someone else, that it's a scorned lover or the spouse of a scorned lover? Now we know that that's in play too, because we have confirmation that there is an extramarital affair. So a lot kicking around in this case, and I just wanted to share the latest updates with all of you. Thank you to the numerous brain scratchers that have sent me ongoing information. Obviously, this case has struck a very strong chord with many of us, and it seems like the police are being very active and doing everything they can to try to get this case solved, which I'm extremely hopeful for. That community deserves to go back to its sense of peace. And while you have a known murderer floating around, that's just a very hard thing to come to. So I do hope that they eventually identify a suspect when they have the proper information to do so, and they hold that person accountable for this tragedy. My heart really goes out to her family, particularly her children. I can't imagine the type of grief and pain that they must be facing in this time. So as always, thank you for joining me on the Geek and Dorks channel, and I will see you next time.